Sherpa Network. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Tess Diaz, executive producer of DomainSherpa.com, and this is the Domain Sherpa Review. This is a show where we get into the minds of successful domain name investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become better investors ourselves. We have 3 segments to the review. We'll start off learning what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. Next, we'll discuss in value an investor-submitted domain name portfolio. And finally, we'll preview some domains going to auction soon at NameJet.com and whether the Sherpas think they're a good investment opportunity for you. Joining us today on the Domain Sherpa Review are 3 past Sherpas and industry thought leaders. We have Andrew Rosner, CEO of domain name brokerage firm MediaOptions.com, Giuseppe Graziano, broker and founder of GGRG.com, and hi Giuseppe, and Braden Pollock, who's founder of Legal Brand Marketing, as well as a serial entrepreneur and owner of several companies on and offline. Welcome, guys.
Hey. Thanks, Tess.
Good to be here.
Absolutely.
Good to have you and your money, Braden. What's going on behind you? The dollars.
I was like, my money, did I have to pay for this? I always wanted a sheet of bills, and let me bring this closer. And so I was in one of those coin stores, and they had a couple of these. They had a sheet of 50s and a sheet of 2s, and I wasn't willing to spring for the 50s, so I got the 2s.
Very cool. All right. Yeah, I will invoice you later for this show.
The frame was more expensive than the sheet.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Did the sheet cost more than its monetary value, though, right?
Yeah, a lot more.
Okay, sorry. That was...
I mean, you think less labor would be cheaper, but no, that's not the way it works.
Nice. And Giuseppe, you still have behind you your lucky bamboo. Is it lucky to you or peaceful or what?
I just got it at IKEA, so it's a lucky bamboo.
It's lucky because it hasn't died yet.
No, it's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger.
All right, let's stop talking about Giuseppe's bamboo.
Oh, Drew, it's so good to have you back. Where in the world is Drew Rosner today? Rhode Island?
I'm in Rhode Island. I'm in southern Rhode Island. I'm very pleasantly surprised, actually.
Wait, southern Rhode Island? Like really? A state that big you think you need to differentiate?
Yeah, you know because it's just a block lower. That's what it is.
No. This is it's a whole different ballgame, actually. So the northern part of Rhode Island, and then the southern part of Rhode Island is beautiful. It's like all nature, green, on the beach. We spent,
Wait, did you just diss half a state?
Not really, because it's Rhode Island.
You just dissed 3 blocks.
So, so I'm in southern Rhode Island, and it's great.
Do you have another clam bake tonight? What are you eating tonight?
Well, for lunch, we had a big salad with fennel and cannellini beans and fresh Rhode Island squid.
Ooh,
yep.
Nice.
Excellent. It was excellent. Yep.
This is what we're talking about?
Yes.
Well, he just posted on Facebook this beautiful clam.
That was my sister's wedding, which is why we came to Rhode Island in the first place.
I don't know. I would have gone just for the clam bake. It looked really good. The wedding looked lovely.
It was legit the best clam bake I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
Nice.
That's legit.
Okay.
All right, guys.
I'm bored.
Okay, let's jump into the first segment, What's New, Sherpas, where the Sherpas share one purchase or sale they've made over the past few weeks, and we get to learn what they paid or received for the domain, why they thought it was a good deal, and how the negotiations progressed. I'll lead you through the questions, and then the other Sherpas get to comment during the process as well. Remember not to say what you paid for it until the other Sherpas guess. First is Giuseppe. What's something you bought or sold recently, Giuseppe?
Okay, so this is a domain I brokered over the past few weeks. The name is ghf.com.
Okay, so with 3-letter G and then F like Foxtrot?
Correct.
Okay, ghf.com. Braden, what do you think you paid, or what do you think you brokered an outbound sale or an acquisition?
Yeah, so it was kind of, I will tell the story. It's kind of like both.
Okay. Braden, what do you think it went for?
It's kind of like both.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you the story.
So can I ask clarifying questions? Was it an end user? No, I can't.
No, it was not an end user. It was
What?
not an end user.
It's
You
not.
guys are
So,
cheating.
I mean, they're good. They're good letters. Wholesale market, probably in the 25 to 30,000 range, I guess.
Okay, 25 to 30,000. How about you, Drew? What do you think was the sale?
I'm gonna say $32,000.
Just taking the high.
Okay, pretty close to each other.
Yeah, whatever.
Look
I'll
at
keep it.
Giuseppe. I didn't know you had that adorable dimple.
Now I'm getting self-conscious.
I was thinking the same thing, Giuseppe.
Oh.
No, I knew you had it.
So Giuseppe, from the size of your smile, I'm thinking maybe higher. What tell us all about it.
No, actually the guys are right. So like the actual sale price was like 30,000. So kind of like, both Brew and Braden like got it right. And actually it's a funny story because like a few weeks ago I was in China and I was in the city called Xiamen because I was meeting investors. And it was like late at night, I was like having dinner and basically I text one of the guys that lives in Xiamen and say, hey, I'm in town, like if you want we can meet up, hang out. And the guy says, oh, by the way, I actually have this domain, ghf.com. So it's a Chinese, this guy's a Chinese seller. And he says, can you help me find any buyer? And I was like, sure, but like, why don't you list it first on LXMe, which is the platform that we soft launched like a couple of months ago.
Okay, hold on. What are the letters for your platform?
LXMe, LXME.com.
Okay.
So it's still in early access, so it's like still not officially launched. But I said, like, why don't you list it there? And I mean, he's a very busy guy. He didn't list the domain. And just like 1 week later, I was still in China. I was actually in Hong Kong for Rise conference. And I get this text like late at night. It was a buyer it's like a Western buyer. It's well known as well. And he says, hey, look, I'm actually looking for freeletter.coms. And I was like, okay, why don't you look first on the platform, LXV? And he said, yeah, I looked into it, but I didn't find anything that I liked. And then I said, how about GHF? It's for sale at 30K. And by the way, he said, you know what? Sure, it's a deal. And that was how it came out.
Nice work. Good job. And congrats on the platform. I want to hear more about that in a little bit. That's pretty cool.
Sure.
What you said you were meeting ambassadors in China?
Investors.
Big difference.
Yeah.
It would be cool if I met ambassadors, though. Eh?
That makes much more sense, though.
That's when the magic really happens. They're ambassadors and investors.
Probably, yeah. Okay, Drew, Braden, you're next. What'd you recently buy or sell?
My last sale was, I'm looking at my spreadsheet. My last sale was foodtrucks.com.
Ooh, food trucks. All right, Drew, Giuseppe, what do you think?
So I have to laugh because a good friend of mine, the guy who I sold my house to actually in Panama, just asked me about a very similar domain name, but not exactly that one. And I told him what I thought it was worth. I'm going to tell you 50 grand.
50 grand for foodtrucks.com. How about you, G?
I mean, I would say pretty much like close to what Drew said, but knowing Braden, I would think that it's much closer to maybe like, I want to show you die, maybe 75.
Okay, you are a good negotiator, Braden. 50, 75, what'd you sell it for?
250.
What? No. Really?
See that coming.
Wow. Well done.
$250,000.
Yeah.
Well played.
Congrats.
Well played.
Nice. Congrats.
Very good sale. Really. You got all of that. You got all of that. That's a great sale.
Wait. No money left on the table?
There's always money left on the table, right? You never know.
All paid up front or payment plan?
No, it's a payment plan.
Okay.
Yeah. But a good payment plan.
Yeah.
And is your payment plan through escrow.com?
No.
Just private on your own?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So big congrats. Tell us how the negotiation proceeded.
So oddly, same guy had reached out to me a few years ago about a totally different name, crawl.com, because he's in the pub crawl business and he does event planning. And so he reached out to me again. He called me. This was the name he wanted. I actually have the singular as well. Quick backstory is I bought the singular a few years ago, and I get so many inquiries on it that I went after the plural because I figured they have the same value. And it was a guy in the food truck business that had it, and it just kept hammering him until he finally sold to me. So I had both. And so when the buyer reached out, he liked the plural better, but he actually has an option to buy the singular at the same, and first right refusal. So at the same rate, which he probably will end up doing if everything goes well for his business, but he didn't want to put out the money and make the commitment. So when he reached out, he actually called first. And I think his opening offer was 75. And I said, we're well into the six figures. And if, that's not of interest, then I can't help you.
Do you think his opening offer was that high because he worked with you before and had a good idea of domain valuations? Or
I think in part, yes. Well, if he remembered that he had talked to me before at that point, I don't know. But he's bought names before and sold names before, so he does have an understanding of valuations. So when I said we're going to be well in the six figures, he said, well, let me come out and sit down and we'll have lunch and we'll talk it out. I said, look, I'm not going to meet with you unless you're going to talk about something in the six figure range. So I wouldn't commit to a price. And so he flew out and his partner flew out from New York and we had lunch. So I knew that they were serious, right? Because they made the trip just to meet with me. And over lunch, we came to terms.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great sale.
Good job.
So it's my story. What
I'm
else?
sticking to it.
Yeah, it's a good one. Did you actually sell him crawl.com or you guys just discussed it?
We just discussed it. I don't remember what his offer was, but it was 50 grand or something.
Yeah. I really see two takeaways from that. Number one, we are ambassadors of domain name values, and our professionalism on, inquiries, really it lasts for years, setting expectations and kind of reframing the old idea of what, domain investors are. But also, I think it's interesting that that you didn't sell to a food truck owner. And I certainly see, and Giuseppe, I'm sure you see this when you're outbound brokering names, it's not just the one end user that immediately comes to mind. An event planner is probably going to do a lot more with food trucks than one guy who owns one food truck or someone who owns 10 food trucks. And that, I think that's where there's a lot of value sometimes in working with a broker, but other times just in talking to people and thinking outside the regular box, because seriously, everyone needs a domain name. Everyone, beyond just thinking one domain can only go to one vertical or one type of user.
Oftentimes I have an idea of what it's going to be used for. And when someone shows, if someone had a food truck, I wouldn't take them seriously because they just couldn't afford the name, right?
Yeah.
If they own a food truck, they're not going to spend this much money on a name, and it doesn't make sense. But this guy built a platform for ordering from food trucks,
Cool.
and delivery from food trucks. So it made sense what he wanted to do. And it's really the perfect application for this particular name.
Yeah, that's really cool. Good job. All right, G, no pressure. Oh, sorry, Drew, your turn.
Okay, so I'll talk about a buy, and I'll go with XL. Oh shit! I don't think I can even talk about it. Hold on. Sorry. Just occurred to me. Okay, I'm going to talk about a
You
buy.
prepped as much as I did. That's good.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about a buy. Okay, so LDL.com.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. LDL.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you guys think? And you bought it for you.
I did.
Okay. For media options. Giuseppe, Braden?
I can go first if you want. Yeah, I think I saw it. I think I said it was for sale. So yeah, I would say 30K.
Okay. 30K. Braden?
He paid more because LDL it has to do with cholesterol, so it's a pharma play. So either he got a great deal on or he paid a bit more. So I'm going to say 40.
Cool. All right. What do you say, Drew?
So yeah, we got 33. Very close, both of you.
Yeah.
30 grand actually, but we had to pay a 10% fee to the folks that brought it to us. I think regardless, even at 40, it would have been a steal. Like Braden said,
Yeah.
LDL is the bad cholesterol. It's what, I think 70% of America is trying to get rid of. I don't know, probably 30 or 40% of America is on some kind of drug for lowering their cholesterol. It's a big one. That's a really, I was blown away. At first I started negotiating it and then I was like, what am I doing? Just give the fucking domain to me. So that was a great deal. And it all has to do with this sort of meltdown, which Giuseppe understands more than I do, but there's been a meltdown suddenly in China. And I think there's 200 or 300 three-letter.coms in the market. Most of them are sort of Chinese style, but there's some that are slipping through the cracks. Also like the one Giuseppe referenced earlier, that also, 3 months ago, that would have been 50 grand. LDL would have been 50 grand. So all of a sudden somebody lost money, somebody got screwed, and there's a whole bunch of Chinese investors looking for liquidity, and there's a lot of great domains in the market. So in this case, we were the benefactors of LDL. Yes. That's all I have to say about that.
Nice. And so someone brought this to you and you knew it was a good opportunity there.
Yeah, Chinese broker.
Okay.
Yep.
I've picked up a couple of names like that just aren't 3Ls, right? They have an application within the industry. I have EZE and RNR, which is actually under contract for a substantial sum. They just have better applications than as a commodity in the Chinese market.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool.
Just find extra value that's not being, priced into the market. That's, they look to any market. That's how the wealthiest guys in the world have made their money, is finding ways to differentiate the way they value an asset to what the market's valuing it. And if you can find it underappreciated value, then duck.
Absolutely. I mean, if I can add something to that, there is I agreed with Drew, like there is like a ton of inventory that is going out there from China. There's a lot of Chinese sellers right now like selling inventory, and they don't really care about like Western premium domains because they don't really look at those in the way. And so there's like a lot of very good buying opportunities right now.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. And do you have any
question about it?
Where to buy or everywhere?
There's a bunch of brokers. I mean, like we also have like quite a big list as well. So it's pretty visible. But like if anybody is not, is not already aligned with Chinese brokers, they can also contact us.
Okay, cool.
Actually, I will say that, so Giuseppe also sent me a list that same day, but the Chinese broker was first, and Giuseppe didn't have LDL on his list. But I will say that Giuseppe's list had the lowest prices of anybody, of probably 7 different brokers who contacted me with that list. There's probably 40 or 50 three-letter.coms on the list, all for sale at quite attractive prices. But Giuseppe's prices were like 10, 15% under anybody else's prices, including the Chinese broker that contacted me.
Yeah, I got that list twice as well. And
he didn't have LDL on his list. He was holding that back.
Yeah, because I actually put lower ticket domains. So I put everything below 30K because I thought it was a very good opportunities. I didn't put LDL, but yeah, man, it's good. Congrats.
But LDL was the best value.
All right.
It wasn't the lowest price, but it was the best value.
Good one.
In my opinion. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's a lot of good.
Yeah. Good point, guys. All right, thanks, Sherpas. I'm going to tell you about our sponsors for today's show who support us in our mission to educate people in the domain industry. First, serious about online trading? Secure your funds, keep your merchandise safe, and use a company that keeps the buyer and seller protected the whole way through. That's escrow.com. Payments you can trust. All right. In the domain portfolio review, we take user-submitted domain portfolios and provide honest and constructive feedback to the owners so they can either cut their losses, continue to hold them long-term, or figure out a sales strategy moving forward. Today we have 25 .coms, and I don't know about with Siger, but at least for me, this is the first portfolio I have submitted by a woman, Fran Callahan. She is lovely. I've chatted with her quite a bit. She sounds super smart. I know a lot of women investors in the industry, but send me your domains, y'all, and we'll do a portfolio review of them. So let's take a look at Fran's 25 .coms and see what our Sherpas think. Braden, you are first up. This list starts with Sales Power and .com and ends with Premises.com.
I don't love this list. These two word, I see these a lot on NameJet, and they're just kind of random two words that don't necessarily have a great market. Premises is certainly okay. The two that stand out are Acquisition and Apology. I think those are solid names. I mean, Acquisition, I see that as a six-figure name. Apology is probably a mid-five-figure name. Everything else is not great. I personally, I would just auction them off and be done with it. I don't think it's worth the back and forth for a few bucks each.
Okay. Any that you would renew if they didn't sell at auction?
It really depends on what you want to invest in, right? So if that's your game, that you want to go for these kind of semi-brandable names and sell them for $500 each, then you keep working them. You put them out on all the platforms, and you keep putting them up on auction. And you can make money doing that if it's worthwhile for you. For me, I find it more work than it's worth. I'd rather focus on the bigger ticket names.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But certainly there's some in here that are worth renewal. T60 and Tech Genius, DNA Experts, Boxed Set. Although I would sell that to the person who owns Boxed Set. I mean, that's the problem with that name. Farm Trader is probably a good name. Generating. Those are worth renewing. But Lending 101. I don't know. BidMate. I don't really see that one. High Stock. American Turfs. If it's a singular, perhaps. I don't love the list.
Okay. All right. Thanks. And that's a good point.
Sorry, Fran.
That's a good point that she could sell to someone who owns like boxset.com. Just like you had food truck and you knew you wanted food trucks. That's cool. All right. Thanks, Braden. How about you, Drew?
So I'm a little, I like this list a little bit more than Braden did. I think, acquisition.com is definitely far and away the best name in here. You got 110,000 exact match searches. You got a reasonable CPC. You've got traffic on the name. You know, as we know, there is a lot of money to be made in the acquisition business, whether it's the acquisition of art, acquisition of domain names, acquisition of cars, doesn't matter. Anywhere you've got a valuable asset class, there's money being made in assisting people in the acquisition. So real estate's huge. So I think that's, you know, definitely a six-figure name. I'd probably be looking for, you know, 150 to 250. I'd probably be asking more than that, but that's probably, you know, it's a little tough to spell to see it go into the mid six figures, I think. I think I like Farm Trader a lot. So I think I've said before, anytime you see a above normal overture score on a name like that, it means it's got mind share, and those things they recycle themselves as new brands later, so they have a high propensity of selling. And I think Farm Trader is a really good brand that'll get picked up. You know, there's a lot of money to be made in trading farm equipment. Could be even an agricultural exchange. Who knows? It could be some crypto thing. I like the name Farm Trader a lot, and I think that it's an above average name. So I think, like, whereas a typical 2-word brandable like that, I'd say tell you 15 to 25. I think a Farm Trader is like a $35,000 to $75,000 domain. Of course, it's not liquid at that. Of course, you probably have to wait until the right end user comes knocking on your door. I think it's a semi-difficult name to outbound sell, but it's a great brand. And I think sitting on it long enough that somebody comes knocking. I really, really like that name.
Or pitch it to the folks that own Auto Trader.
Yeah, or potential. I mean, there is so many companies out there that do farm equipment, agricultural equipment, auctions, and secondhand sales. There's a market. You've got a big, big market, multi-billions of dollars in agricultural products and mechanics that get traded. So I love that name. You know, I think a lot of these are sort of just lower grade 2-word brandables. I think they go for more than the 500 that Braden is saying, but I think, you know, they're not flying off the shelves. And to me, to make money in that business has to be at scale. And whether or not that works is debatable. But, you know, biosensitive, I think that's a good name. Seems to be something. You know, giggling. There's very few names on here that I'd be like, oh, you just let it expire. I don't like boxed set because the word is box set, and even if a few people are stupid enough to put box set, that's not a market. Yeah, you know, and the rest are all reasonable enough brandables that I would never let them expire. But I hope, you know, you don't have a ton of money into them, and you probably just have to be patient. I think to outbound, to proactively sell these names, acquisition is sellable. You know, apology, if you can come up with the right application for it and target that market, there's probably a buyer out there. It is a good, easy to spell, oneword.com. Generating the INGs are tough. Kate, you know, just sold sleeping.com and snoring.com for a lot of money. So, you know, but traditionally speaking, everybody, you know, it's sort of a known thing that the INGs don't fly off the shelves, but there are, of course, exceptions. I'm not sure generating.com is one of them. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I'm hearing both of you say that you see, like, the strategy behind this portfolio is like a lower tier type of brandables, and it's harder to sell. Like, you can sell a tier 1 brandable much more easily, or do more outbound on a tier 1 or 2 brandable, but the lower tier brandables are hard to outbound sell, so you should kind of hang and wait, or list them with the buy it now instant buy.
Totally.
Yeah, because the thing is that if you're doing an outbound, how much work, how many calls, how many emails are you going to make? to sell a name for whether it's $500 or $2,500, there's still not a lot of money in it. And how much time can you spend on that?
And ultimately, it's opportunity cost. It takes you literally, I mean, the time difference is negligible between selling a domain for $2,500 or $250,000. You're going to make the same amount of phone calls, and the people you're dealing with at $250,000 are a little bit more educated about domain names than the ones that are buying $2,500 domains or $500 domains. So,
And they might fly out and buy you lunch too.
yeah.
And I would add that someone that can spend $250,000 on a name has the money versus someone that's going to spend $2,500.
That's what I'm saying.
All their money.
Yep.
It's a harder sale.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you're right.
Good points.
Yeah. And at that tier, they have other options. They have more options.
Yep.
And they'll never be a repeat buyer. You know, I know we didn't buy Crawl, but chances are you're probably going to come across this gentleman again in the next, however many years. All right, Giuseppe, what are your thoughts? And will you throw out Lending 101? I want to hear something about.
Yeah, I mean, I have no much opinion about Lending 101. To be honest, I mean, I have to say, definitely, like Britt and Drew said, acquisition.com is really the name that stands out. It's a great one word. There's a lot of ways you can use it. It's, if you wish to sell it, that's a great name to give to a broker. Another name that I personally like, and just because that's my niche, it's t60.com, because that name is the only one actually has real liquidity. You can buy one of them and sell it, and it's easy to it's just very liquid. And those kind of names, it's like a free characters.com, and so free characters normally they sell for minimum a few $100, but this one specifically it's a letter number, and letter numbers normally they sell for at least 1.5 3K depending on the letter and the number combinations. This one, I would say that, at very least you can sell for 3 to 5K, either an auction or any other place. So yeah, that's the reason why I like the name. Also, a name that I kind of like, it's allcoupons.com, just because, I don't know, I just see an easy way to build some revenue generating website. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I have to say, there's not too many names that I don't like. Maybe the only one I really don't like, it's American Turfs. I don't know what you can do with that. Maybe I don't like healthcaremarket.com. I'm not really sure about the use. And also, like Drew said, boxset.com. I don't know. It's a bit. I don't really understand it.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, all really good points. Thank you, gentlemen, for your insights, and thank you, Fran, for submitting your portfolio for all the Sherpa Network to learn more. I hope the review's been helpful to you in your domain investing activities going forward, and I hope we keep in touch and see how this advice has helped you with your strategies going forward as well. I have heard back from a couple people from earlier reviews, and it's just cool to hear how they're adjusting their strategies, or listed things on Afternic like we mentioned, and what's happened. So pretty neat. Before we jump into the domains going to auction soon, I'd like to tell you again about our sponsors who support us in our educational mission.
Finally, if you're a domain name investor, don't you have unique legal needs that require domain name technical know-how and industry experience? That's why you need Stephen Lieberman of Greenberg & Lieberman or Jason Schaefer of Esquire.com. Go search for Jason Schaefer or Stephen Lieberman on DomainSherpa, watch their interviews, and you can see for yourself that they can clearly explain issues, can help you with buy-sell agreements, deal with website content issues and UDRP actions, and even help you write your website terms and conditions. Stephen Lieberman and Jason Schaefer are the lawyers to call for internet legal issues. See for yourself at Esquire.com or APlegal.com.
So now we'll move forward to the marketplace list. This segment is sponsored by NameJet. We're reviewing 18 domains, 17.com and 1.org, that are heading to auction soon. If you like one of the names below, click through soon, because once they go to auction, you lose your chance to put in a minimum bid or even just to watch what's happening in the auction. The links go directly to NameJet. They're not commission. They just want to see, the traffic that we send them. So for transparency, I always start out, if the brokers or sorry, if our guests here, if you guys own or are brokering any of the domains listed here?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I think we start with growyourwealth.com and it ends with southbeach.org. So a little longer list than usual, but
I think it ends with scenic routes.
oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm looking at it in a different order. You're right. Scenicroutes.com. So Drew, you're first up.
Okay. So the name that pops out to me is Kalu.com. I really like that. There was this sort of sustainable living community being built in Panama when I was there called Kalu Yala. So that was sort of already had some mind share for me, and Kalu, I forget, but I think it even has a meaning.
Okay, so that's KALU.com?
KALU.com, yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a great little brand. Definitely that little community has no money to buy it. But it's a good brand. It's 4 letters. It's kind of, that's kind of the holy grail of branding, is a 4-letter pronounceable. There's alternative spellings potentially with a C versus the K, which turns me off a little bit to it, but I like the name. I like all CVCVs that are easily pronounceable and spellable. And then, I have to like southbeach.org. I like .org for geos. They continue to disappoint me, generally speaking, as they always have.
It's a hell of an argument.
But they still, it's just still, to me, I see a southbeach.org and I think potential. There's money to be made there. But, very few good track records on that front. But it's South Beach. At the end of the day, it's South Beach. A lot of good memories, a lot of lost memories. And so I don't know. Just being honest, I am attracted to that name. And then if I'm going to pick one more that I like.
How about surf fishing?
Yeah, I mean, I like surf fishing. I mean, I did it a lot, right? I love fishing in general. I would have said surf casting instead of surf fishing, number 1. Number 2, that double F it's a killer. Double F is a killer. Really, I don't like combining 2 words where the first and last letter are the same. It just turns me off. So I'm gonna nix it. That's enough for me.
Okay. All right. Good feedback. Yeah. Good catch there to ask him, Giuseppe, about surf fishing, because if anybody is going to be an expert in that, it's our fishmonger, Drew. Good call. All right. Who's up next?
Who do you want to be up next?
Giuseppe.
All right, I can go. Actually, the only name that stands out to me as well, it's Kalu. Again, I love it. It's like a 4-letter. It's pronounceable. It's a CVCV. And actually, another thing that I really love about this name is that it's a pinyin. So both syllables are also like syllables in Chinese. So that gives even like more added value to the name. So that's pretty much the only one that really, really stands out. There's like a few good brandable ones, or like a couple like good 2 words. But yeah, I mean, like I think Braden would be like Braden and Drew are the best to of these.
Yeah. So can you explain pinyin for a minute? If any of the Sherpa Network doesn't know what that is, that would be great.
All right, sure. So basically, I don't know if a lot of people are familiar, but like how Chinese like type on a keyboard. So in China, there is exactly the same keyboard as we do, like the QWERTY. The only thing is that every sign, every ideogram in Chinese can be translated into a little version, like a romanized version of the alphabet. So for example, each word will be also like a syllable and those syllables are like whole Romani characters, and that is called pinyin. And so to give an example, this is Kalu. For example, to say coffee, in pinyin it's ka-fei. K-A-F-E-I. So those are true pinyin syllables. And that's why every time there is pinyin, basically that makes the domain worth more, because it means that people can actually type in and then get the ideogram right there.
Okay. So, and then to clarify, so do they speak pinyin, or it's only for writing?
So basically, whenever you type on a keyboard, you just type, for example, KA, and then it becomes a sign. That's how like the Chinese input work.
Okay.
And basically, it's the phonetic version of the ideogram. So yeah, it's like whether you consider like it's written or spoken, it's basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very limited number of syllables, maybe about like 400 of them. And so that's why like whenever you get like a 4-letter, or let's say like a 5 letters, it's composed only by pinyin syllable, that it's actually adds value to the domain.
So what do you mean some words don't have a pinyin that goes with them and some do? Is it like the most commonly used words?
No, so all the words have pinyin. So all the words can be translated in pinyin. It's just that certain syllables, they just do not exist in pinyin. So for example, like a lot of people might be familiar with the fact that if there is a V in the domain, then it's not really worth much in China because V doesn't exist. And that is because there is no syllable with V in pinyin. That's why, like, it doesn't exist. And also the reason why vowels are not considered premium letters in China is because there is almost 0 pinyin syllable that starts with a vowel. So whenever you want to make an acronym in Chinese, it basically almost never contains vowels, except like very few exceptions. So this is why like the premium letters in China are all of them except for the vowels and the letter V.
That's an awesome explanation. Thank you, Giuseppe. Were you going to say something else? Did I stop you? Were you going to maybe talk about a different domain?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, like, Calo is really one I like. Yeah, I mean, there's a few ones I don't like, but just we can skip over that.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right, Braden, you're up.
So I think this list is similar to Fran's list, and that's kind of a variety of 2-word names that have a little bit of value, not worth dropping, but there's not going to be any home runs here. A name like growyourwealth.com, it might take a while to sell it. You put it on a brand bucket or an afternick, and somebody that's in multi-level marketing might pick it up for $1,800. And if you can buy it for $100, you're fine. But the thing is, you have to have a lot of these, right? You have to have hundreds of thousands of these names out there for you to make money, right? Because there needs to be a pipeline of sales. Mad Mom, asset liquidators, I think that has value. These guys didn't see it, but asset liquidators there's a whole industry of guys that liquidate assets. As a matter of fact, I bought returns.com some years ago, and it means exactly the same thing. Someone that buys returns, store returns, is someone that liquidates assets. And I sold that for, I think, $75,000 about 3 years ago or so, 4 years ago.
Were you thinking taxes, or you were thinking asset liquidation when you invested in it?
I was thinking of liquidation. Yeah. So liquidators or jobbers. So asset liquidators is probably a $15,000 name. Anybody wants to grab that? The problem with that name is it's plural, not singular. So you got the singular out there that has the same value, and there's only one industry it'll go into. So it's super niche. There's no broad appeal at all, right? You can't put it in other industries. There's only one, which I really don't like. I like things that are a little more brandable. Cycle warehouse, same thing. It's okay if there's the right buyer. Sykes.com, I think, is a decent buy. I like that name.
What's the application
for Sykes?
Yeah, because it stood out to me.
Yeah,
and you look at it and you go, I like that name, but I can't think of what do you do with Sykes?
An app for online psychiatrists.
But then would you use the plural?
If you want, yeah, because there's psychs out there, and you can't get psych necessarily. Now, I'm not saying it's a huge name, but I see names like that go for between 15 to 25 grand. I think it's a $20,000 name. It's worth holding on to, and it's a good market. The rest of the names, Kalu obviously, but not a big value. South Beach, not a big value. The other one I like is Cold Planet. I think that's a good brand. There's sites like there's other planet names out there, right? And Cold Planet I think be used for a variety of things. Not a huge name, maybe it's a $7,500 name or a $5,000 name, but it's one of those names you put out there. You put it on Afrinic and you wait, just like all the others. But I think those are the few that kind of stand out to me in that list. The rest aren't that great. That's what I got for you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, each of you. That's, I think, fantastic insight for everybody. So we're coming to the end of today's show. I'd like to give each of you an opportunity to share anything you have going on in your lives, personal or professional, brokering, selling opportunities, anyone you want to give a shout out to. Braden, you want to go first?
Let's see, conferences coming up. Who's going to Brazil? Anybody else going to Domaining, was it Domaining Americas?
Negative.
I wanted to go. I said like next year.
Yeah, I would like to go, but I mean, I just left Latin America and I'm been on a long gypsy.
There's no going back.
No, not
yet. You can practice your Portuguese.
So I'm moderating there and at Name Summit. I'm not going to merge. It conflicts with something else. But I think those are the conferences between now and the end of the year.
Nice. Do you know what panel you're moderating?
In the whole thing, as far as I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm a panel. Come on. If I'm going to show up.
Rating we're talking about.
Nice.
Name Summit. I'll probably just do a few panels. I don't know the schedule. And Domaining Americas, he asked me if I would moderate the conference, but I don't know what that means ultimately. I'll show up and I'll do whatever they want me to do.
And you'll be good. You'll show up and it'll be a slam dunk.
Or maybe I'll blow it this time. Who knows?
Probably not.
Yeah.
How about you, Giuseppe? What's going on?
No, actually, one thing I have to say that I'm very, very happy about this. That until now, like even this year, when NamesCon Europe, I mean, it used to be Domaining Europe, which actually Braden moderated. It was always in Valencia, and so next year is going to be in Lisbon. So I'm very happy this coming year. Also, Drew is
every year he pushes for that. Every year,
every year to finally did it.
Finally
managed. So it's cool, and actually, like it's very nice because other people, again, not just Drew, also there's another well-known investors. Like it's for you thinking about moving here to Lisbon. So it's very nice that you're building like a nice community of domain investors. And next one is going to be Braden after he finish with the house. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. And then the other thing is, I mean, we still in early access for sme.com, but if anybody's is looking to buy or sell freeletters.com, phonenumbers.com, or truecharacters.com, please let me know and just reach out because we have a lot of inventory and a lot of buyers. So feel free to reach out for that. And the last thing, there is also Web Summit in Lisbon in November. So if you guys are coming here, if anybody's coming, just drop me a note. It would be cool to know who's coming to Web Summit.
I'll be there. I already bought my tickets.
Awesome. Looking forward.
And I'll be just starting to settle into the new house.
Nice. You can go for dinner now.
At 10 o'clock at night.
Always.
Right.
Or is that too early in Lisbon?
I think it's okay. I think 10, I prefer.
I think we should throw a party, but we got to be able to get the VIPs of Web Summit.
I think it's possible.
But I only want the VIP.
I think if anybody would throw a good party, actually, it would be the three of you right here. This is a good party crew. So, Drew, what do you have going on?
Same as it's been. Gypsy Tour continues. We're just past our halfway point. We go from Rhode Island to Lisbon to finalize some stuff. Lisbon to Germany, Germany to Mallorca. And then from Mallorca, we will eventually get notice that we can start finalizing the house. So then we'll go to Lisbon and start life finally. Other than that, not much. All good. All
Very
good.
nice. Very
also
nice.
excited for Web Summit in Lisbon. Also excited for NamesCon Lisbon. Very appropriate venue. I mean, Giuseppe can speak for it more than I can, but the short amount of time I've spent in Lisbon already blew me away. There's energy there. It's an exciting place to be. There's really cool people there, and there's more of them coming, it seems. And there's just a great energy. It really is. It's an exciting and up and coming city. Although one might argue, as the second oldest city in Europe, it may have already up and came. But it's getting on
The second coming.
radar. The second coming. Right.
The phoenix of, well, it didn't crash, but
Well, it did in a way. It did.
Yeah.
It is a phoenix.
It did at some point.
Yeah.
It was a
Several
big
times.
earthquake 500 years ago. So
Yeah.
very
It
cool.
rose from the ashes.
Well, I actually am not in Phoenix. This is my first filming Sherpa out and about. So I'm in Dallas right now. Very exciting. Logan Flatt, I don't know if any of you know him, but he happened to, he reached out to me yesterday, and I was like, hey, you're in Dallas. I was like, that's funny, I'm in Dallas. So we're gonna do breakfast tomorrow. So should be fun. Yeah. And I actually, I think it's great and ought to be typical that we all share, exciting things and our successes. But I had a failure this week that I want to share. Drew had a fantastic idea. And, my other job besides executive producing here, I'm business development coordinator for Media Options. And I didn't follow up on the idea. It was just complicated for me to figure out and weird. And you know what? Boom, somebody else up and did it. And I think that is a lesson and a reminder. In this industry, everything is so fast, and sometimes, especially when you really know that an idea is unique, it's important to set time aside, garner the resources that you need, and make it happen. I don't know how many other industries are as fast-paced and as open in opportunity as domain names, and it's hard to allocate our limited resources, especially in terms of time and energy. But I think when we really know that an idea is big and unique, that we don't want to let it slip past. So just, I don't know, I thought the Sherpa Network would appreciate that. And now Drew can't yell at me. Sorry, Drew.
I
is it
would
possible to know which idea?
Have I ever yelled at you? I don't think I've ever yelled at you.
No, Drew is the best boss I've ever worked for. And always very encouraging and supportive. I don't know, Giuseppe, I don't know if we're prepared to share the idea. Drew and I haven't talked about it yet. We're still going to move forward.
Extraordinarily competitive. And the fact that somebody else did this idea does upset me tremendously. Only because it was on the cutting edge. And somebody else did it before we did.
Yeah. And it's just so easy. My favorite book is, my favorite business book is Switch. Just like the little obstacles that can be removed, what a huge difference that makes in sales, in execution, in everything. And I just stumbled on little objections to overcome. And this is where it got us. So anyway, kind of interesting. But on better news, I'm in Dallas because my little sister had a baby. So
nice. Congrats.
Yeah, I thought we might have a guest appearance, but I decided that was too complicated. But so kind of fun to be here, and it's just as hot as Phoenix. Super lame.
You didn't think Dallas was gonna be hot?
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd get like a couple degrees off. They're having a heat wave here. It was 108 yesterday.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't coming here for like, South Beach weather, but I wasn't expecting a heat wave either. So that's right. I think I bring heat waves with me. When I visited Alaska, there was a heat wave there too. And that worked out just fine for me. So I'll keep on my heat wave streak, even at this price. So, anyway, all right. Probably time to wrap it up. To
Give me the tomahawk.
What?
The tomahawk.
Time to go.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Now I do. So to our Sherpa network, comment below. Thank our Sherpas. Share it with your network. Help grow people's understanding of the domain industry. Thank you to Fran for submitting your portfolio.
Thanks, Fran.
And thanks to NameJet for submitting their portion of the review and sponsoring us. And thank you most especially to our Sherpas. So good to have you, your experience, and your insights. Thank you, Braden. Thank you, Giuseppe. Thank you, Drew. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
That's
Wait,
great.
I'm going to record it.
I remember. I passed on. I was like, I really liked it. And then
Not
I
a
was
food
like,
truck that you're talking about, the singular.
Okay, wait. So, Braden,
I
you
remember.
just said what you paid for food trucks with an S.com?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to go.
Okay, bye, Drew.
Ciao, Drew.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Ciao, Drew.
Thanks, Drew. Ciao. What'd you pay for it?
For the plural?
Yeah.
I paid $22,000.
$22,000. So you sold for more than 10x. And how long did you have it?
11 months.
Ooh, that's a nice profit.
Yeah.
And where'd you buy it? What?
From an end user, from a guy who,
that's right.
who was in the food truck business and wasn't using it. Because I had foodtruck.com, I paid $13,000 for it.
Okay, and you must have had that a long time?
I had it at this point, maybe 3 years. I'd have to look it up, but I got so many inquiries on it, just constantly. And so that's why I went after the plural. And it took me about 2 years to buy the plural.
It was definitely worth it.
And then it sold, yeah.
It took you longer to buy it than to flip it for 10x.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, 10x is what I shoot for typically when I buy names.
Oh, all right. Good to know.
Most of my names I sell for 10x or more. If I sell something for 5x because I don't get a lot of inquiries and then I have the opportunity, I'll take it. But, but then again, there'll be a name that I'll buy for 20,000 and sell it for 500,000. That makes up for it. So.
Cool. I totally should have asked you that. I'm going to put this in probably just at the end as a little PS. Bonus.
Okay.
Bonus section.